Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with Tactical Solutions. Hope that you guys are all having an amazing Sunday. So this is our Sunday Stock Talk, which is where we come together as a team the day before the market opens, which is Monday, and we simply talk about the top stocks that you guys see value in. I'm going to say what's up to everyone that is tuning on in as of right now. But pretty much, if this is the first time that you guys are tuning in and watching, please don't be afraid to say hello. I'm just going to be covering about 10 different stocks that are people that tune on in during this live Sunday Stock Talk ask me to break down. What's going on, Acacia? But yeah, that's really just it. If you ever want to tune on in to any of these future Sunday Stock Talks, they're hosted at the same time every single Sunday, as you guys can see, at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And all you have to do is feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I really hope that we earn your thumbs up throughout this video if you learned something new. And don't forget to turn on those post notifications so we can alert you when it is that we go live. But I'm very, very excited. What's going on, Roger? What's up? What's up? What's going on, Aaron? What's up, team? So I'm excited. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the overall market, but the market pretty much approached 180-day highs. We sold off for the past 2 to 3 days of last week, and we're right around the SMA line. So this is at a critical point based off of previous patterns. It tends to do a really good job holding above the SMA line, but again, it doesn't mean that it has to, right? We have that saying of like patterns tend to repeat themselves. They don't always have to. So I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to, a lot of the different stocks that are kind of discounted right now if the market recovers. And that's the big if. So some of you guys might be asking, well, Ricky, what if the market doesn't recover? One of the best things I think you can do as of right now is, instead of trying to put your money in something that you hope recovers, as we don't know if we're actually going to find a support here at the SMA line, you can build a watch list. If you're scared, if you're a beginner, if you're someone that's just getting started, you don't have to put your money in something as you're just getting started to learn, right? There's nothing wrong with creating watch lists and following up with stocks that you see value in. So I really hope that throughout this video, we talk about some top stocks that you might see value in. And all that means is, you can add it to your watch list, you can set your alerts, and you can follow up with it when it makes sense. So we got Acacia here. This dealership of the stock market is kicking my butt. I bet it's a crazy time to be alive right now. But like we've said so many times before, nothing in life worth having should ever come easy. And these challenging times in the stock market are no exception either. So I don't want to take too much of your guys' time on this Sunday. I'm going to break down for everyone. If you want me to break down your top stock, all I ask you to do, what's going on? Is it Mercy? What's going on, Mercy? All I ask you to do is to post it in the ticker call out format, like Daniel, like Oxzone. Oh, or no, not Oxzone. They don't have it in. Like Eve. So what's going on, Aaron? What's up? What's up? But yeah, let's go ahead and get right to it, and let's break it down. Yeah. So I'll talk about Intel. That's one that I have on my watch list. That's one of the stocks that I talked about on Friday. I'm not too sure if you checked that one out. But let's go ahead and get right to it. I wanted to talk about the overall market. This is /NQ. It's the NASDAQ future. The futures market already opened and it's looking green. But look, this is kind of what we have to figure out. It pulled back. It looks like do you see the MACD? You see the RSI? Indicators are to be used as a reference, never a reason to solely take a trade, right? I think we all understand that. What I would like to see is confirmation of an uptrend, confirmation of a reversal, and indicating signs of an uptrend. And as of right now, we don't have that, but we're in the very early stages of a potential reversal. And as of right now, the market's up a little bit under 0.5%. So I'm excited to see by the time the market does open to see if we're closer to the EMA line, getting indication of this overall reversal, which would be a great sign for a lot of big companies like Amazon, Tesla, Facebook, and etc. So let's go ahead and yeah, we got Ismail here posting it in the ticker call out format. So for all those that are asking for that, that's going to be pinned right up here. So there's no excuse on why you can't break it down. So we got, is it Dominic? So we got ticker symbol work. Let's break that one down. So ticker symbol, whoa. Looks like they all came back. Deleted them. These are the tickers from last week. I love when TOS glitches out, don't you? And we broke down work last week. So I'll break it down very quickly as not too much has changed, right? It's still doing a lot of consolidation. The overall market has sold off. So it makes sense on why Slack Technologies is selling off as well. I agree. I see why you're paying attention to it. Based off of previous patterns, it has a very common support level right around the $30 price range. Right now it's at $272, right? So it's at a previous support range. It doesn't have to bounce. So just make sure we get that through our head. Patterns tend to repeat themselves. They don't always have to. This thing can continue to sell off, but again, if the market begins to recover and indicate signs of an uptrend, then it wouldn't really surprise me if Slack Technologies, or WORK, begins to push up and show signs of an uptrend. From previous support level to previous resistance level, right around $34, it's a 13% margin. I can definitely see why someone would be paying attention to this. Based off of previous support levels, based off of previous resistance levels, it makes sense. But we need to wait for confirmation. And I feel like that's going to be a very common theme for a lot of these stocks that we're going to be talking about today. A lot of them are going to be oversold. They're going to be in the good deal range, previous support range, but we need to wait. We need to wait for direction to be more clear, because if there's more negative news, more negative earnings, that can only drive the market down further, which means that most likely a lot of these stocks will follow as well. So let's just make sure that, right, if you're invested or you want to get invested in these stocks long term, your game plan should probably be a little bit different, right? We're focusing more on trading, more of like short-term positions, as we don't like to hold these for a very long period of time. At least that's my approach, right? So let's go ahead and break one down for Fernando. CEMI. All right, CEMI, here we go. So this one's a little bit different. I would have to look a little bit more into why it is that you see so much value in this one. As of right now, there is a big drop. I'm not too sure if you're looking at this as like as it has a margin to fill, right? As of right now, yeah, we have been indicating signs of somewhat of an uptrend. But when I see something with a significant drop like that and all of a sudden the volume begins to really pick up, I'm all for. I can set my alerts and we can follow up with it. There looks like there's a very common resistance level right around $6, where every time it would touch $6, it would get rejected, touch $6, get rejected, touch $6, get rejected. And then it's up and coming earnings reports on August 6th. So make sure that you're aware of that, as things can get worse before they get better. And I would make sure that you set your alert at the support level, so if it actually begins to indicate signs of a descending pattern, you do your part in managing your risk, or simply staying away if you're not already in an open position. So we got Stone Cold and we got FVRR. Let's go ahead and break that one down. So Fiverr International, so a very consistent uptrend pattern. Again, a very consistent theme. We just recently hit 180-day highs. It sold off, it pulled back. So it provides this kind of like good deal, right? Where you can buy the dip and then sell it back at previous highs. I see why you're paying attention to it. I 100% agree with you that it is based off of previous support levels at a support range. But all I want to repeat throughout this entire video, and I'm sorry if I just annoy you with this, but you need to understand the importance of confirmation. If the market does begin to recover, we'll most likely see FVRR and a lot of these other companies begin to indicate signs of reversal. I'm all for this. This is, I built my watch list over the weekend on top stocks that I'm watching that are oversold, the stocks that are like Facebook, stocks that are like Microsoft, stocks that are like DocuSign, that are oversold, they're overall uptrends, and they're in the good deal range, right? Where you can make 5 or 10% margins. So I like that you're paying attention to this, but please know, all I want to get through your head is that it doesn't have to bounce right now. If things get worse before they get better, don't be surprised if it continues to sell off. So please watch your position size and do not be sold on the idea that it has to reverse. That's all I want to get through your head. But I am very, very excited to follow up with it as well. And let me know in the comment section what you guys think as well. So we got ZNGA. Here we go. So again, a very similar pattern overall. You guys are doing great. You guys are focusing on stocks that are showing signs of an uptrend, right? So it's healthy, consistent uptrend pattern. It's much easier to make money when your money is in something that's increasing and appreciating in value. This one does have up and coming earnings reports, so this one's going to be on the 5th of August, so make sure you take that into consideration. We talked about this one last week as it was at the SMA line. It pushed up, got rejected, the overall market sold off, so again, it makes sense on why it pulled back. direction is going to be so crucial, especially at where it's at with the SMA line. So I'm excited to follow up with it. I'm going to set multiple alerts. So if it begins to indicate signs of an uptrend, I can see why you're paying attention to it. It's, showing signs of previous healthy uptrend patterns. It's a 10% margin. And yeah, it 100% makes sense. So we had someone, what was this? HL. Running off of silver. Okay, let me go ahead and... All right, so very, very overextended. So as of right now, I did hear last week, right, that there was a lot of just positive news when it came down to silver and when it came down to gold, especially as there was like somewhat uncertainty, right, with the market pulling back and maybe things getting worse before they get better. As of right now, HL, if it continues to uptrend, then great. I agree with you that, yeah, it would make sense. And if it continues to validate the EMA line as a support, it would make sense on why you're paying attention to it. As of right now, this is not a good deal, right? Based off of previous price points and previous patterns, it's super overbought. It has a lot of downside margin. So all I want to remind you is don't be surprised, right? Just like when Tesla hit highs of nearly $1,800 a share, and then it sold all the way back down to $1,500 a share, you're really going to be surprised when something within a very short period of time pushes up 80% and then it corrects itself and gives back 40%. Is that really going to surprise you? No. So I'm all for, right, if this thing continues to uptrend, it makes sense on why you're paying attention to it, but it's so overbought that it wouldn't surprise me if it begins to pull back. So I'm never here just to talk about the profit potential. I want to make sure that everyone is aware that with every opportunity comes great form of responsibility, and risk management needs to be A1. So I appreciate the call out though. Any thoughts on CRWD? What's going on, Roger? So CRWD, here we go. Alrighty, so I like this one's very similar to Znga, where it's a very consistent uptrend pattern. It almost follows kind of the theme that I have, the criteria that I like to focus on. I like to focus on an overall 180-day uptrend on the 4-hour time frame, consistent uptrend pattern, bullish direction, and then it being near the SMA line, which can kind of give me that good deal mentality, right? We're at the SMA line. We're actually below it right now. And again, we're at a critical point. So I'm all for this. Like, I get why you're paying attention to this, especially because of its previous performance. But market direction is so important. So I'm excited to follow up with it. If we begin to get indication of an uptrend, then yeah, I can see why you're going to slowly, you can ease into the position, why people can put money based off of previous highs. And if the market continues to recover and then go back to 180-day highs, then that's a 15% margin from lows to highs. Obviously, there's no such thing as a perfect trade, so never be afraid to lock in profits. Just like we experienced last week. We were at the support level, it pushed up, it showed signs of a resistance, and then it pulled back. So a lot of people did their part in locking in profits when there was indication of a resistance, even if their goal was to sell nearly at 110 or 120, my apologies. So yeah, all right, how many have we broken down so far? We've broken down 6. Let's go ahead and break down 4 more. I apologize. All right, BABA. What's going on, Kenneth? What's up? Appreciate you tuning on in. I hope you're having an amazing Sunday. All right. So BABA, previous 180-day highs, pulled back at previous support range, right? So we can see that based off of previous support levels right around 240. So if my TOS works, then I can draw this little support line. Come on. All right, previous support level, previous resistance range right around kind of like the 270 area, 265, right? So it's just support ranges and resistance ranges. It doesn't have to bounce or hit the same levels as it has before, but it gives us a better understanding of, kind of like the low points, the high points, and the low points, right? Based off of previous patterns. So we are based off previous patterns at lower points. We're still getting rejected by the EMA line, and the market is still selling off. So right now we can set our alerts, follow up with it, maybe when it actually begins to indicate signs of an uptrend, and based off of previous highs, it offers a 6% margin. So if that meets your criteria, set your alerts and follow up with it when it makes sense. So a lot of people are asking about Nikola. I'll be sure to talk about Nikola. You don't have to shout it out in this video. I want to cover 3 more stocks that you guys choose. I'll cover Nikola towards the end. A lot of people have been asking for our 2 cents because it broke below $30 a share, and I'd be more than happy to talk about it. Here we go. So we got NIO. What's going on, Alex? NIO. Alrighty. NIO, like we talked about it in the very beginning, I have nothing against these companies. I hope that you guys know that. My biggest thing is we have a lot of beginner traders, a lot of people that are just getting started watching these videos. And when they see something within a very short period of time push up 100%, just like NIO, just like Workhorse, just like all these other hype stocks, it is literally, I mean, you can say whatever it is that you want about the company and that it should be worth whatever, but when something pushes such a huge percentage within a very short period of time, it never surprises me that it pulls back 50%. And all I want to do is I want to do my part, because I know a lot of beginners watch our videos, that I want to remind people. It's not that I have anything against ticker symbol NIO. I hope it continues to thrive and do well. My job is not just to talk about the profit potential, but to also talk about the risk, because everyone that I hear talking about NIO is only talking about that it's going to the moon. I never hear anyone talk about the risk involved, that, hey, it can pull back down to $6 a share. Hey, it is overhyped up when it hit highs of $16, and it wouldn't really surprise me if it drops 30%. My job is to remind traders to not just think about the one side where you can make money. Trading in the stock market, especially when something is so hyped up within a very short period of time, that corrections do happen. So if you see value in NIO, great, all power to you. I wish you the best. I wish NIO the best. There's no reason for me to hope for a company's downfall. That doesn't benefit me, right? But I want to make sure that you understand like that this hype comes in waves, right? So it pushed up, hit highs at $16, it pulled back, it corrected itself, and it's experiencing a lot of consolidation. We're not making higher highs. You're not missing out on anything by not being in it. Does it offer upside potential? Of course, based off previous patterns, yes. But as long as the volume based off of its previous peak continues to die out, so will the stock. So never be sold on the profit potential if they never break down the risk involved, because just as much as it could hit highs of $16, it could also hit lows of $8. So don't ever just think about one side. I think that if you're a complete beginner, these hype stocks, because they move so quickly, you need to learn how to walk before you run. And I think that they come at too high of a risk where you're really just obsessing about making money when you should really be focused on learning how to trade, the what to do and what not to do. Do you get what I mean? But again, to each their own. I'm not here to convince you. And just make sure that you do your part in staying informed on both sides. So, alrighty, let's go ahead and break down two more, and then I'll talk about Nikola. I'll talk about the overall market direction, and then we'll go from there. So what's going on, Matt? What's up? What's up? So talking about Amazon, I talked about Amazon on Friday. So this one I won't include as one of the stocks, but I talked about it on Friday. I made a video on YouTube. I'm not too sure if you guys have checked it out already. It's about the top 10 oversold stocks. If you guys haven't watched that video, I would encourage you. I actually think it's a pretty solid video where I go into detail about the criteria that my stocks have to meet, and then I list 10 stocks. Amazon is one of them. It's sold off. It's at previous support levels. It doesn't offer a ridiculous return, but it offers an attractive return, especially for a $1 trillion corporation. If the market begins and continues to sell off, then it would make sense that Amazon will follow as well. Also, they do have up and coming earnings reports, and it wouldn't really surprise me if Amazon beats expectation. Just last time, based off of previous earnings, especially during the pandemic, I do want to remind you that Amazon, although it did push up for a little bit, it ended up correcting itself and pulling right back down. But then again, over time, Amazon's just a machine. It's just a monster. It wouldn't surprise me if Amazon recovers. So I see why you're paying attention to it. It's such a solid company. But again, direction is key, and it's our job to keep it simple, right? Let's set our alerts and let's follow up with it when we actually get indication of a reversal. I personally don't like holding during earnings because it's an uncontrollable amount of risk. And during these crazy times, things just don't tend to surprise me that much of how, they might still hit earnings, but overall expectation might have been off by a little bit, which can cause the stock to drop. So just understand that there's multiple different factors that can have a negative influence on someone's earnings. So here we go. So we got Steven, we got SNSS. SNSS. Let's see what we got going on here. No, not one that I want to talk about. Pharmaceutical company. Yeah, I've had very poor experiences with these type of stocks. They're very hyped up, they're very short-lived, and they correct themselves. This thing just has a tendency to get pumped up and hyped up. It doesn't matter what news it is. It doesn't matter of like, oh, they're pending just FDA approval or whatever the case might be. It's always just super short-lived, and there's a huge dump that follows literally almost every single time. And because of that, I've learned to simply just walk away. That's just my 2 cents, and I apologize if I offend you, but I had to learn from my mistakes. And first of all, this thing's trading at 35 cents, so there's no reason for me to be trading this if I'm trading with nearly $100,000. So here we go. We got TTM. Let's go on page. So TTM, here we go. Okay, so I see why you're paying attention to it. Very consistent uptrend pattern. I can see that it's been validating the SMA line very nicely. It's been trying to make higher highs based off of previous resistance levels. And where we're at as of right now, upside margin is right around 10%. So I see why you're paying attention to it. But like we said, again, it doesn't surprise me. There's a very constant theme. Market sold off, so this follows as well. Set your alert to follow up with it when it begins to give you indication of reversal, and then do your part in locking in profits when it makes sense. And it wouldn't really surprise me if it experiences the same resistance level right around $7.50 as well. Let's go ahead and do one more, and then we'll call it a live stream. So here we go. So we got a ticker symbol. Well, I don't see a ticker symbol here. All right, so we got POP. Let's see. All right. Nope, and there's nothing there. Okay. Ticker symbol BB. Let's remove this one. Alrighty. I don't really want to end it with this one. So this is Blackberry LTD. Same thing. This one isn't even that much of a solid company, but sold off. Yeah, it's at a previous support level. It looks oversold. Looking at the RSI, looking at the MACD, it's pending a reversal just like everything else is because the market sold off last week. So it makes sense. You can set your alerts. If you see the upside margin to be worth it based off previous highs, it's about 7 to 8% margin that it has to offer. Let's go ahead and do one more. So we talked about Microsoft already on Friday's video. Okay, mRNA. I don't really like that stock. UAVS. Here we go. Oh, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of this. So super overbought, super overextended, and yep, doesn't last for a very long period of time as it's hyped up. Only a matter of time for the volume to die out and the price to follow as well. So let's try mRNA. I'll do it just because you did call it out, and it's my job to break it down regardless if I like it or not. mRNA, based off of what I've read, out of every company that is out there, has shown the most credibility in the pharmaceutical space when it comes down to a potential vaccine for the COVID-19. They still don't have anything set in place to my understanding, but they've just been doing so well because there's so much attention on them and pressure on them. And if I'm not mistaken, they actually received some form of government funding, or they're about to. So it makes sense on why a lot of people are paying attention to it. It pulled back, the overall market sold off. It's testing the SMA line, so it could be viewed as the good deal range. They don't do very good during earnings. As you can see, they don't actually report very well. They do have an up and coming earnings, which of course can act as a negative catalyst, which is on August 5th. So make sure you take that into consideration. But based off of current low points and based off of previous resistance levels, the upside can outweigh the downside. And I see why a lot of people pay attention to it, but there is a lot of attention on mRNA because of the pressure that is on them to create this, vaccine. And what you have to understand, if someone beats them to it or the attention shifts elsewhere, it wouldn't really surprise me if then mRNA begins to experience a downfall. So just make sure that you understand what is causing mRNA during this COVID period to thrive. And if that attention shifts, then you can then understand why there's a drop. I just want you to understand the why behind everything, why it's selling off, why it could push up, and what's to come for mRNA or Moderna, who is, again, one of the, if I'm not mistaken, the biggest focus for this potential COVID vaccine. So it makes sense on why you're paying attention to it. It's a big player in today's game when it comes down to this. So I'm excited to follow up with it. I hope that it does well. I think that we can all only hope that, we come up with a vaccine so we can slowly get back to our normal lives. But they have a lot to prove, and there's no question about that. So the last one that I want to talk about is Nikola. I'm just going to talk about it very quickly. I have made numerous update videos on Nikola to the point where I felt like I just wanted to do my part in reminding people what can cause a negative catalyst on a company. Nikola is a hydrogen-powered and electric vehicle. They position themselves to be almost a direct competitor to Tesla. The CEO, Trevor, I believe his name is just, he tries to put himself in a position where he can Elon Musk. It's just a very, it's almost like the lighthouse effect, right? Where you try to use other very powerful and credible public figures to uplift yourself by trying to discredit others. And I just think that going from a $30 billion market cap to now they're right around $10 billion of a market cap, I still think they're overvalued, but a lot of people have a lot of expectation for them. I hope that they do well. I'm never here to praise someone's downfall. All I know is they have a lot to prove. They had their S1 filings, if you're asking why this thing sold off. Even before this sell-off happened, while this thing was trading at $70 a share, I made a video explaining and breaking down the S1 filing, which pretty much just meant that there was 53 million shares of outstanding shares of original PIPE investors that were going to have their ability to exercise their right to sell their stock. And it has just really tanked since then. There was a very aggressive drop when the news was originally shared, and then it pushed up and recovered to $60 a share. It began to again peak. Overall, there's a significant drop when it broke below $50 a share, and it's just been on a consistent downfall. All I'm here to remind you is that if you see long-term value and long-term growth on Nikola, I'm not here to convince you not to. All I want to remind you is that they do have a lot to prove. All they've been able to provide for anyone are prototypes and renders that I can come up with on their site, right? Yes, they do have their semi hydrogen powered semi truck, which is great, but they haven't sold any, right? And although they do have pre-orders, they just I am very excited because I think that if Nikola does pull this off, they will pull off a big upset, right? Where they were extremely hyped up in the very beginning, and then all the hype is almost dying out, and they're pretty much right back or even lower at a lower price point than they were where they merged. So I think that Nikola has a lot to prove. I'm very excited to follow up with it. I hope that it does well. I think that it would be amazing for Tesla to have a direct competitor, but I don't know. And then please let me know in the comment section if they have any news that they plan to share later down the road. Other than Nikola World, which is supposed to be on December 3rd to December 5th, I don't know of anything else of news that Nikola is looking forward to, which I don't think is very good, right? For Nikola itself. So yeah, I almost forgot about Intel. Yeah, let's talk about that one. So, wait, let me see. So, here we go. INTC. Okay, so I talked about Intel on Friday, right? This was part of my top 10 stocks that were oversold. And pretty much all I want to highlight is we've experienced this so many times. Nothing has to happen. Intel Corporations doesn't have to recover right away. You can look a little bit more into it on why it had a 16% drop. But what I like to remind people is because there is a significant drop, if you're not already invested in it, that wouldn't surprise me if it makes a recovery, right? Especially with Intel being $1 billion corporation. What I want to remind you is that it had a poor earnings. And on top of that, the market is selling off as of right now. So there's two things that are going against Intel, but just like we've experienced with Bed Bath & Beyond, just like we experienced with Facebook when they reported that Coca-Cola and big advertisers were pulling out, there's a short-lived drop and a decent recovery. So it doesn't mean that Intel has to recover right away. It just means that it wouldn't surprise me if it does recover based off of previous trading price points, that it recovers 10 to 15%. This is why I added it to my watch list for the top 10 stocks. When this isn't a 180-day uptrend, it's something that was just kind of consolidating, and it's always just been doing well. So the reason I talked about it is because I saw it as a dip buy opportunity, and I saw value in it, and that's why I shared it. If you agree with me, great, you can add it to your watch list. If you don't agree with me, please share your opinion in the comment section. If you think that things can get worse for Intel before they get better, and you have a reason why, share it. I would love to learn more about why Intel wouldn't be a good dip buy. And yeah, I'm very excited to follow up with it. Right now, we are presented with a lot of companies that are reporting very poor earnings that are significantly dropping, but over time, it just wouldn't surprise me that they will begin to make a recovery. But again, only time will tell. I'm only here to talk about the stocks that I see value in, and all you can do is cherry pick the ones that you agree with and just leave alone the ones that you don't. It's not that we have to all agree on the same thing, but that we can have a mutual kind of respect to one another, where if you see value in something and I missed it during this Sunday stock talk, please share it down in the comment section. Not only can you provide insight for myself, but also for the thousands of other people that are going to be watching this video as well. So we can, again, help one another out collectively as a group. So I really do appreciate you guys' time. I don't want to take any more of your guys' time. I had fun with you guys during this Sunday stock talk. And don't forget to stay connected. I believe the second link down below, if you're someone that's just getting started and you're having trouble connecting with other like-minded traders and individuals, click the second link. It will send you on over to our free Discord chat. We have a TechBud Solutions Discord chat. It's absolutely for free, and you can literally network with tens of thousands of other members. If you want to join our free Facebook group, well, you can't, because I don't think I linked it down below, but it's TechBud Solutions. We have a little bit over 286,000 members, and you can just send me a message on Discord and we can go from there. If you guys, I saw a couple of you guys were asking for the free live trading. If we do host a free live trading, it's probably going to be on Thursday of this week. But if you want to tune on in to our live trading as soon as tomorrow, you guys can click the first link down below. You guys can learn a little bit more about the Learn Plan Profit Group. You guys hear me talk about them all the time. It's the only team that I work with. So if you like my videos and you like the way that I break things down, then you'll like the group. If you don't like my videos and you don't like these live trading sessions, then you probably won't work well with our Learn Plan Profit team. So I appreciate your time. I really hope that we earned your thumbs up. It really helps out our channel. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. What's going on, Keegan? All right, like always, team, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy.